47th lesson. Pass through this brief patch of time in harmony with nature and come to your final resting place gracefully, just as a ripened olive might drop, praising the earth that nourished it and grateful to the tree that gave it growth. This lesson is a poetic reminder of the transient nature of life and the importance of living it in alignment with nature and with gratitude. Life, like the ripening of an olive, is a process that unfolds naturally over time. To live harmoniously with nature means to accept the flow of life, embracing its joys and challenges without resistance. It calls for living authentically, with virtue, and in tune with the universal order. Life is brief, but it is also beautiful. This brief patch of time we have is precious. Instead of resisting the inevitability of life's cycles, growth, maturity, and decline, we are encouraged to find peace in the natural rhythms of existence. By living with grace and mindfulness, we can approach the end of our lives not with fear, but with a sense of fulfillment and gratitude. The imagery of the ripened olive dropping gracefully symbolizes a life well lived. The olive does not cling to the branch in desperation or fall with regret. It accepts its time to drop, acknowledging the earth that sustained it and the tree that nurtured it. Similarly, we should honor the forces that have shaped us, the people, experiences, and opportunities that have contributed to our growth. Gratitude and grace are the marks of a life well lived. As we move through life, this lesson invites us to cultivate gratitude for what nourishes us, both physically and spiritually. When the time comes for us to drop from the tree, let us do so with the same grace and appreciation, leaving behind a legacy of harmony, gratitude, and virtue. In the end, this lesson serves as both an inspiration and a guide to live fully, gracefully, and in harmony with the natural order of life. 48th lesson. I learned to read carefully and not be satisfied with a rough understanding of the whole, and not to agree too quickly with those who have a lot to say about something. This lesson emphasizes the importance of intellectual diligence and critical thinking. In a world filled with noise and endless opinions, it's easy to skim through information, settle for surface-level understanding, or agree with the loudest voices. However, true wisdom demands a deeper, more deliberate approach to learning and judgment. Careful reading is the foundation of true understanding. To read carefully means to engage with information thoughtfully and analytically. It's not enough to grasp the gist of a text or argument. We must seek to understand its nuances, evaluate its logic, and consider its implications. This kind of careful engagement helps us uncover the deeper truths that may not be immediately apparent. It also protects us from being misled by superficial or incomplete narratives. Equally important is the caution against agreeing too quickly with those who speak at length or with great confidence. Eloquence and verbosity can be persuasive, but they do not guarantee truth. This lesson reminds us to question, to verify, and to resist the urge to accept ideas simply because they come from authoritative or influential sources. Critical thinking is a safeguard against deception. By cultivating the habit of reading carefully and thinking critically, we equip ourselves to navigate the complexities of life with greater wisdom. This practice not only enhances our understanding, but also helps us form our own well-reasoned opinions, rather than simply echoing the views of others. In a broader sense, this lesson encourages us to value depth over speed, substance over style, and thoughtfulness over convenience. It's a call to engage with the world, and with knowledge, with curiosity, patience, and integrity. 49th lesson. Life is short. The fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good. This lesson is a reminder of life's brevity and the significance of how we choose to live it. Our time is limited, and while we cannot extend its length, we can ensure its quality by focusing on what truly matters, cultivating a virtuous character and contributing to the well-being of others. Good character is the foundation of a meaningful life. A good character is not something we are born with. It is something we develop through intentional effort. It involves honesty, integrity, kindness, courage, and humility. These traits define who we are and guide how we interact with the world. When we live with virtue, we create a life of purpose and leave behind a legacy that outlasts our fleeting existence. Equally important are acts for the common good. Life's greatest rewards often come not from pursuing personal gain, but from serving others and contributing to something larger than ourselves. Whether through small acts of kindness or efforts to improve our communities, working for the collective benefit creates a ripple effect that touches countless lives. The true fruit of life is found in how we live and give. This perspective shifts our focus from chasing fleeting pleasures or material success to embracing a life of virtue and service. It reminds us that the value of our existence is measured not in years, but in the impact we have on others and the character we cultivate within ourselves. In recognizing life's brevity, we are called to make the most of it, not by rushing or grasping, but by living intentionally, with goodness and purpose at the center of all we do. A short life lived well is far more fulfilling than a long life lived without meaning. This lesson encourages us to focus on what truly matters, building a good character and dedicating ourselves to acts that uplift others. In doing so, we ensure that even a brief life can be a life well lived. 50th lesson. Wherever a person can live, there one can also live well. This lesson challenges us to reconsider how we think about our circumstances and surroundings. It teaches that a good life is not dictated by external conditions, but by our mindset and approach to living. Living well is not about where you are, but how you are. Many of us fall into the trap of thinking that happiness and fulfillment depend on being in the right place, achieving the perfect conditions, or waiting for life to align just so. But the truth is, the essence of living well comes from within us. It comes from our ability to adapt, to practice virtue, and to find meaning wherever we are, wherever life places us, whether in comfort or hardship, in a bustling city or a quiet village. We have the opportunity to cultivate goodness, gratitude, and resilience. The external environment may influence our experience, but it does not define our capacity to live well. The power to live well lies in our choices. Living well means acting with integrity, being kind to others, and appreciating the small blessings in life. It's about finding joy in the present moment, no matter how imperfect it may seem. It's also about using challenges as opportunities for growth and using our unique circumstances as a stage for practicing virtue. This lesson reminds us that we carry the tools for a meaningful life within us. While external conditions may vary, the principles of a good life, gratitude, kindness, courage, and self-discipline, can be practiced anywhere. To live well is a choice we make, not a place we find. So, wherever you find yourself, remember that you have everything you need to live well. Embrace your surroundings, focus on your character, and make the most of the life you've been given. In doing so, you'll discover that the good life isn't about the perfect setting. It's about the way you choose to live. 51st lesson. That which isn't good for the hive isn't good for the bee. This lesson highlights the interconnectedness of individuals within a community. Just as a bee cannot thrive apart from the hive, we as individuals are deeply tied to the well-being of the groups, societies, and ecosystems we belong to. The well-being of the individual depends on the well-being of the whole. When a hive is healthy and flourishing, every bee within it benefits. Similarly, when a society functions well, when fairness, kindness, and cooperation prevail, individuals within that society can thrive. Conversely, if the hive is neglected or harmed, every bee feels the effects. This principle reminds us that selfishness and short-term thinking can lead to harm not only for the collective, but also for ourselves. Our actions ripple outward. This lesson encourages us to think beyond ourselves and consider the broader impact of our choices. Actions that benefit the greater good, such as helping others, protecting the environment, or fostering peace, strengthen the hive and ultimately create a better life for everyone, including ourselves. On the other hand, actions driven by greed, divisiveness, or indifference can weaken the collective and, by extension, harm us in the long run. To care for others is to care for yourself. This perspective doesn't mean sacrificing individuality. Rather, it emphasizes that individual well-being is deeply tied to collective harmony. By contributing positively to the communities we're part of, be they families, workplaces, or entire societies, we create an environment where everyone, including ourselves, can flourish. The hive and the bee share a common destiny. This lesson invites us to live with greater awareness of our role within the larger whole. By recognizing our interconnectedness and acting in ways that support the common good, we strengthen both the hive and our own lives. True fulfillment comes not from isolating ourselves, but from contributing meaningfully to the collective well-being. Ifti's second lesson: accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. But do so with all your heart. This lesson speaks to the core of Stoic philosophy: acceptance and love for the life we are given. It encourages us to embrace the circumstances and people that fate places in our path, with a spirit of gratitude and wholeheartedness. Acceptance is the foundation of inner peace. Life is filled with events beyond our control. Instead of resisting or resenting these realities, we are invited to accept them. Acceptance does not mean passive resignation. It means choosing to work with what life offers rather than against it. By doing so, we free ourselves from unnecessary frustration and open the door to contentment. Love strengthens our bonds and enriches our lives. Fate also connects us with people, family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers. While we don't choose all the relationships in our lives, we can choose how we approach them. Loving others with sincerity and generosity creates deeper, more meaningful connections. It also reminds us that relationships are a source of joy and growth, even when they challenge us. To love wholeheartedly is to live fully. This lesson calls us to embrace life with an open heart. Instead of longing for a different fate or wishing for different companions, we are encouraged to cherish the present moment and the people within it. This approach not only fosters gratitude, but also transforms even the most ordinary aspects of life into something extraordinary. Acceptance and love are acts of courage. When we align ourselves with the flow of life, accepting its twists and turns, and love those around us without reservation, we find strength and serenity. These acts may require effort, especially in difficult times, but they ultimately lead to a life of harmony and fulfillment.